All right, you gotta hear this. The internet is basically exploding with a rumor that is so huge it could completely change the Gotham that we know. We're talking about Captain America himself, Chris Evans, maybe, just maybe, joining Matt Reeves' super gritty Batman universe. So what's the deal? Let's get into it. So the huge question on everyone's mind is this for real? Is this actually going to happen? Because if it does, this isn't just some other casting news. I mean, this would be a massive deal, a huge signal that this whole crime saga is heading in a really bold new direction. And get this, if the rumors are true, Evans wouldn't even be the first Avenger to show up in Gotham. He'd actually be the third major MCU star to potentially make the jump, right after rumors about Scarlett Johansson and even Sebastian Stan, who's apparently being looked at to play Harvey Dent. So, okay, let's say he is cast. Who in the world could he play? While the first big theory that fans are really getting behind is a truly tragic one. Let's explore the idea of Chris Evans playing Mr. Freeze. Now hold on, before you start picturing Arnold Schwarzenegger and all those ice puns, you gotta just erase that from your mind. The version we're talking about here for this universe would be grounded, realistic, a far cry from any kind of cartoonish villain. We're talking something way different. So what would that even look like? Just picture it. A brilliant scientist, Victor Fries, completely driven by his wife Nora's terminal illness. See, he's not just a bad guy. He's a tragic figure, forced to do what he does. And the tech he uses? Nothing sci-fi. It'd be grounded, realistic. Maybe something to do with illegal medical research or stolen cryo equipment. The whole point is that his motivation is just painfully human. And this is exactly why Evans feels like such a perfect fit. The source material puts it perfectly. He has the ability to make you sympathize with him even as he's doing the wrong thing. Just imagine Evans playing this quiet, broken man, his voice low, every single move he makes driven by this deep, real pain. This wouldn't be some screaming supervillain. This would be a guy who might actually apologize to you while he's committing a crime. I mean, think about him in Knives Out. He can play that character with a hidden, darker side, and that ability to be both sympathetic and menacing would be absolutely perfect here. But what if the threat isn't physical? What if it's all in the mind? Well, there are two other possibilities that are all about psychological warfare. Let's talk about the masterminds, Hush and Hugo Strange. Okay, first up, we've got Hush. You might know him as Thomas Elliot. In the comics, he's this mysterious old friend of Bruce Wayne, and his entire goal is just to tear Bruce down psychologically with a bunch of twisted mind games. So the whole idea with Hush is psychological revenge. Evans would get to play this dual personality, super friendly to everyone's face, but just boiling with hate on the inside. It'd be the perfect slow burn villain. Maybe you'd get a hint of him in part 2 before the big reveal in a third movie. Though, to be fair, the analyses I've seen says this one's probably a long shot. All right, now for a character that feels much more at home in this dark and gritty universe, Hugo Strange. This guy is a brilliant, but let's just say very disturbed psychologist, and his main weapon is his mind. He can read and manipulate anyone. As this expert psychological analyst, Hugo Strange is just a perfect match for the vibe of the Reevesverse. He could build up so much tension without ever throwing a punch, which totally fits the dark, mysterious tone of these movies. Plus, you'd be bringing a really formidable villain to the screen who hasn't been used a million times. Evans could bring so many complex layers to that role, making Strange a truly creepy and intellectual enemy for Batman. Okay, but what if we're all looking in the wrong place? Here's where the theory takes a really interesting turn. What if Matt Reeves just avoids all of these known villains for something way more grounded? Let's get into what might be the most realistic option of all, a new face of corruption. And this really gets to the heart of how Matt Reeves makes his movies, right? On one hand, you could use a known villain like Mr. Freeze, but you risk just repeating something we've already seen. Or you could create a totally new character, which gives you a fresh, original threat that's completely unique to this world. It allows for total creative freedom and a story that none of us could predict. So what would this original villain even be? We're talking about someone created just for these movies. Imagine a corrupt politician, or a doctor to the rich and famous, or some powerful businessman. Someone who looks totally respectable on the outside, but is secretly one of the people rotting Gotham from the inside out. It's like the perfect kind of bad guy for the street-level crime story that Reeves is telling. So check this out. Here's how it could go down. First, Evans shows up in part 2 as this seemingly minor character that everyone respects. Then, he gets caught up in some kind of political or financial scandal, and finally, bam, In the third film, it's revealed he's a major player, a hidden mastermind that Batman has to bring down. I mean, what a brilliant slow burn setup. And that's why the analysis I've seen basically concludes that, honestly, I see this character as a much more suitable fit, perfect for an actor like Chris Evans, in the dark world Matt Reeves is building. It would let him play a really complex character with a respectable mask hiding something truly dangerous. Can you just picture Chris Evans, the guy we all know as Captain America, in a sharp suit, looking all powerful and charming, but with this hint of something really dark underneath? Wow, that twist alone would be incredible. Okay, so after running through all these awesome ideas, from tragic scientists to corrupt politicians, we kind of have to pump the brakes a little and ask the big question here. Is this a rumor? Or is this a future fact? What is really going on? And honestly, the answer for now is pretty simple. Despite all the fan theories, all the amazing fan art, all the buzz online, there has been, and I mean this literally, zero official confirmation. This entire conversation right now is pure speculation. It's a really fun what if, but it's still just a rumor. So that really brings us to the final question, and I want to know what you think. Let's just say the rumor becomes reality. Chris Evans is officially stepping into Gotham. Based on everything we just talked about, who should he play? A tragic villain, a psychological mastermind, or a totally new face of corruption? The debate is officially on.